Hello students, in the last session we have discussed regarding the DNS. Today we will see another application which works at application layer, that is email. It stands for electronic mail. The learning objectives for today's session are to understand the architecture and services of email, to understand the working of email, and to understand the various protocols used in email. So, whenever we talk about any of the application, what comes to our mind is what is the need of that particular application. So, let's discuss the need of email. So, basically, email is used for communication purpose as well as to share the information. But before the invention of email, people were able to communicate with each other and they were also able to share the information. But after some time, there were some problems arise. Like people were unable to send the message to a group of people. For that, they need to send individual messages. There were no internal structure of message, so that was very difficult to understand the main message. Sender did not know about the arrival of message. User can not redirect the mail to any other address. And the system did not support other message type like image, audio, video, etc. To overcome these problems, email system was introduced in 1971. So let's understand the architecture and the services provided by the basic email architecture. Basically, email architecture is made up of two parts, that is user agent and message transfer agent. The difference between these two entities is that user agent allows a user or client to create, read and send the mail, while the message transfer agent moves that mail or message from one end to the another end. We can say that user agent is a local program which is used to interact with email system, while message transfer agent is a daemons which runs in the background. So, this is the 5 different services which are provided by the email system. Let's understand each turn by turn. So firstly, we'll discuss regarding composition service. This service refers to the process of creating the mail or message. The second service, transfer. The transfer refers to transfer or move the mail from sender to the receiver, or you can say from one end to the another end. Third one is reporting, which refers to the acknowledgement of any mail. That means if a user has sent the message, then the user will get the notification by the mail system regarding the status of that particular mail or message. Other service is displaying, which refers to provide the message or mail in a readable format. Lastly, disposition. This service refers to provide the information regarding the action performed by the receiver when it receives the message. As we have understand regarding the need of email, services provided by the email and the important parts of email system, let's understand the working of whole email system. So whenever a user want to send the mail to particular person, with the help of user agent, user will create the mail and send that mail to the mail server of sender side. Now what will happen at the mail server? The mail server contains two types of queues. One is known as the message queue and the another one is known as the user mailbox. So, whenever the mail server of the sender side will receive the mail from the user agent, it will store that mail to the user message queue, as that mail server is used by the multiple users of that area. And at a time, a mail server can entertain only single request or mail. So, for the smooth functioning, mail server maintains this message queue in which it will store the mails coming from the multiple users, and on the basis of first serve first come, it will send or forwards that particular mail to particular receiver's mail server. So now what happens at the receiver side? At the receiver side, mail server will receive that mail and forwards it to the mailbox of particular client. Now, whenever the client want to read that mail with the help of user agent, it will retrieve the mail or message and can perform different actions on that particular message. Thus, in a general way, we can say that when a sender want to send a mail to receiver, at that time, with the help of user agent, sender can send the mail using SMTP protocol and mail server forwards that mail using SMTP protocol to the receiver side's mail server. Now with the help of receiver's user agent, receiver retrieves the mail using POP3 protocol. Here SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol and POP3 stands for Post Office Protocol version 3. One more thing which we need to understand here is that SMTP is a push protocol while POP is a pull protocol. So to understand the statement, we need to understand regarding the concept of push and pull protocol. So whenever a sender sends any mail at that time, there is a need to force the mail or message to travel from user agent to mail server. To provide that force, generally what we do, we just push the message to go outside of the user agent and to reach to mail server. So that protocol which is used to send the mail or message falls under the category of push protocol. Similarly, whenever a receiver wants to access any mail or message, at that time it will fetch the mail from the mail server. So it will provide force in a direction so that mail reaches to receiver's system. To do so, we just pull the message to get it. Thus, a protocol which are used to access the mail from the mail server falls under pull protocol category. Now let's understand different protocols which are used in a mail system. First of all, we will discuss regarding SMTP, that is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. SMTP is a simple ASCII protocol which uses port 25 to send the mail. So whenever a sender sends mail using the SMTP protocol, this protocol establishes the TCP connection between sender and mail server to provide the reliable transfer service. After establishing the connection, it forwards the mail to mail server. Basically, it uses the store and forward mechanism to forward any mail. Now, what's the store and forward mechanism? So, in this mechanism, what happens? First, SMTP copies the mail and store in the buffer and then forwards that to the receiver. So, whenever the packet or message got lost in a network at that time, it can resend the mail. So basically, SMTP protocol always works in a pair. Pair is having two processes. One is the SMTP client and another one is the SMTP server. So whenever sender sends the mail to the mail server, at that time SMTP client process runs at the user agent to send the mail. And the SMTP server process runs at the mail server to receive that particular mail. So now the second protocol which is used in the email system is POP, that is Post Office Protocol. Here we are going to discuss regarding the version 3 of POP protocol. So it is a simple message access protocol which uses the port 110 to access the mail. Same as SMTP protocol, it establishes the TCP connection before communicating with the mail server. Basically, POP3 protocol contains three phases: authorization, transaction, and update. In the authorization phase, user will provide the identity or proof that a request which is sent to access that particular mail is sent by authorized person. After providing the authentication information, user will enter into the transaction phase. In this phase, user can perform different actions on the mail or message, like user can retrieve the message or mark that message for the deletion, or can remove the mark from the message, or able to know about the statistic of mail and how many mails are in the mailbox, etc. Actions can be performed during the transaction phase. So whenever the action performed in the transaction phase will be updated when user will quit the transaction phase and enters into the update phase. So the working of update phase is to record whatever the actions or tasks performed during the transaction phase. So there are different commands which are used to perform different tasks at the different phases. So let's talk about the commands used at the authorization phase. As we know that the work of authorization phase is to find out the user is authorized person or not. So that it provides two commands, that is user and pass. Here user command used to provide the information related username and pass command is used to provide the information regarding the password. The transaction phase provides various commands to provide various services to the users when user tries to access the message. First command is list, which is used to list out all the mails from the mailbox. Next command is retrieve, R-E-T-R. This command is used to retrieve, or you can say to download the mail. To retrieve the particular mail, user need to provide the mail ID of the mail with retrieve command. Similarly, to delete any mail, user can use DELE delete command. Lastly, to end the session or to exit from transaction phase, user can use quit command, QUIT. The command which we have seen above is from the sender side, or you can say that can be used by the user. So when a user performs any action or request for some action, at that time server also provides the response. So in a response of user's command to perform any action, server replies with two types of messages, that is plus OK or hyphen error message, where plus OK indicates that command is right and performed successfully, and hyphen error indicates that improper command by the user or server is unable to perform that particular task. Based on the order of the command used by the user, transaction phase provides two types of modes, that is the download and delete mode, and the another one is the download and keep mode. As the name suggests, in download and delete mode, user retrieves the mail and asks to delete that particular mail from the server. While in download and keep, user will only ask to retrieve particular mail. It do not delete the mail from the mail box. So now let's understand the detailed scenario of both the modes with the help of the commands. So consider the scenario of download and keep mode. Before understanding the whole scenario, let's assume that here S represents server and C represents client. Now after establishment of connection with server, user enters into the authentication phase, or you can say authorization phase. In this phase, first user will request for the access using user command. Okay, so here let's say client enters user Vidhi. In a response to this command, server replies with plus OK message if it finds the entry of the username in its directory. After that, client will provide the password, and in a response to that, server provides plus OK successfully logged in if the password matches with the data stored in the directory. When the user gets plus OK reply, at that time, client enters into the transaction phase. So now, here, the client will perform various actions which he or she wants to perform. To know the number of mail in his or her mailbox, client sends the list command. In a response, server provides the list of mails with the mail ID. At the end of the list, server also provides the dot, which indicates that server has performed his task and now client can perform another operation. Here, the scenario is download and keep. So, client will download the particular mail using the RETR command, retrieve command. Here, client wants to retrieve first mail, so he has entered RETR1. In a response to that, server provides the information written in that particular mail. And lastly, sends the dot. Now here, client don't want to delete this mail, so he will not perform delete command. As he does not want to perform any other task or any other action, so client enters quit command. With response to quit command, server provides plus OK message which indicates signing off. When the user enters the quit command, at that time it moves to update phase, which updates all the status and mark the mail as per the action performed by the client during the transaction phase. Similarly, for download and delete scenario, let's make some assumption that S stands for the server and C stands for the client. Firstly, user enters with the authorization phase in which user enters the user and the password. After successfully logged in, client enters into the transaction phase. So, to list out the mail, client enters list command and then enters the retrieve command to retrieve the particular message. After retrieving the message, client enters the delete command to delete the particular mail. When client quits the session, at that time, in the update phase, the deletion or other task saved by the server. So here, after deleting this particular mail, client sending the quit command and in a response, server is providing signing off. So the client is moved to the update phase, and in this phase, all the actions will be saved by the server, that whatever the mail he has, or you can say client has deleted, that can be deleted from the mailbox, and the other status are also updated. So the next protocol which is used in the mail system is IMAP, which stands for Internet Message Access Protocol. So as we learned in the POP3 is used to access the mail, but the mechanism used by the POP3 is the use of local machine. Because of that, user cannot access his mail for anywhere, anytime. Also, it does not provide any functionality to maintain mails in different folders. So, to overcome such problems, IMAP is used. And as its name suggests, with the help of the internet services, it provides the accessibility of mails from anywhere at any time. Basically, it is a message access protocol, but the implementation of this protocol is little bit complex. That is why it is known as a complex message access protocol. It uses 143 port number. It also provides the folder functionality to maintain the messages in different folders, and most importantly, it uses the low bandwidth connection between user agent and mail server. So because of this many functionality provided by the IMAP, nowadays this protocol is used in the email system. But there are again some problems are still there, like to send the message in non-Latin alphabets, messages in a languages without alphabets, or some other type of data such as image, audio, video, etc. So to provide this type of support in an email system, MIME protocol is used. It stands for Multipurpose Internet Mail Extensions. So it supports different types of data like text, image, audio, video, application, and its extensions are also mentioned in the diagram which are shown in the figure in the slide. So the image also represents the description of each type of data. That is, the text will be have just two types of subtype, that is main and enrich, and the description for that two subtypes are also given. Image, there are also two subtypes, GIF and JPEG. Audio is a normal audio file. Video is an again normal video file, that is with the extension of MPEG, and application, that is the .exe file. So thus in this session we have discussed regarding the different protocols, that is the SMTP, POP3, IMAP and MIME protocol. Other than that, we have also discussed regarding the services provided by email architecture and the basic email architecture. So, thank you.